What's going on, everybody? D Votes here on FLG Cribs High School Edition. I'm here with Shoreham Wading River Wildcats standout. Do me a favor, introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? Xavier ARline 2020 from Shoreham River High School.
Awesome, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out to speak to the lacrosse community for the Long Island Lax Journal.
Of course, always.
Perfect. So you guys are 6-2 on the season. You had a big win against who tonight?
Third place.
Awesome. I'm sure you played well in that game. LI Lax Journal preseason poll number 6. You guys got some quality wins under your belt, and as we make the stretch through April now, it's coming crunch time. We gotta get those quality wins down so you guys can make a push to the playoffs. Talk about the year a little bit. Ups and downs, as well as some things you guys did to prepare to have such a great start.
Right. So we've got older guys, a combination of older guys and younger guys on the team. Most of the older guys don't have a lot of game experience, which is where we, is a setback for us. But we continue to get better. We see improvements after every single game. Just the chemistry is really the biggest part. We've had some ups and downs for sure. I mean, losing the Garden City and Mount Sinai early in the season, but we already feel like we're better from those games. And the biggest thing about it is just learning what you did wrong and finding what you're best at and just getting as good as you can at it.
Definitely. I mean, it seems like, on paper, you guys got some really good players, upperclassmen and underclassmen, but it seems like maybe just chemistry is kind of something that you guys are going to be looking forward to developing, throughout April and as we get into May. Awesome. What kind of leaders do you guys have on your team in terms of upperclassmen, or is it more just like, underclassmen oriented right now?
It's a combination of both. We have quiet senior leadership. But myself and Jack Schertzer, who we both got pulled up in 8th grade to play, are kind of playing more of a vocal role because, it's our 3rd year playing on varsity. So we feel that we have to get to these guys vocally, not just leading by example, but, pick these guys up and show them the right way, the varsity way, the Shoreham way. So, so it's definitely something that needs to get better, leadership, because, you can't win without leaders. But it's definitely in the work.
Yeah, and that's okay, man. I mean, you're young, but obviously you're talented, and you've been up there for a while, so you know what it takes, to get to a county final and win a county championship, stuff like that. So, and for any of you young guys listening in on this conversation right now, it's okay to step up. It's okay that you're an underclassman on an upperclassman-oriented team and say your piece. And kind of, speak your mind, and it's okay to pull guys along and not just lead by example, but show the example. That makes sense. Perfect. And, you mentioned, it was subtle, but you said the Shoreham way. Can we kind of talk about that a little bit and kind of elaborate on that?
Oh, yeah, of course. Shoreham obviously has a history of being a good lacrosse team, structured from when, Coach Rotans was the coach. And there was always leadership, always senior leadership, and everything was very do it this type of way. And we've kind of made a name for ourselves as a program. We have certain expectations, and Coach Taylor brought that along when he came in. And when I was an 8th grader, the older guys, they did the same thing. And I just kind of grab it on to what they've taught me and what I've learned from them. So as long as I'm here, I'm going to try to keep that around, and not just for when I'm here, but for when I graduate and pass that along to the youngins that are following up behind me.
Definitely. I mean, tradition's huge. A lot of great programs are built on it. I mean, you look at the college sport, those big name, Division I schools, they all have their own unique identity and tradition. So that's awesome that, you've experienced that through Coach Rotans and some other guys. And, it's pretty cool that as a leader, I could just tell just by, looking at your stature and, how you present yourself and, how much you care about this program. It's huge that you want to, show the guys the ropes and continue that legacy. That's awesome, man.
Thank you.
Cool. So you touched on it a little bit. You guys are young, offensively, definitely, probably, right?
Very young.
And, you're a stud attackman. So let's kind of dive into what your role is on your team, as well as what are some things that you guys are doing now? Because, like you said, you guys had some ups, you guys had some downs, but the bottom line is you guys got to move on and you got to continue to play really well and develop that chemistry going through April. So, kind of let's talk about the offense a little bit as well as your individual role.
All right, yeah. What definitely what's been working for us is making the transition. Everyone doing what they're good at, and some people try to go out of what they're good at and do something they're not. And the best thing that we have made, with the change, is people doing their role. So for myself, I'm a producer, so it doesn't always mean I'm scoring the goal, but I'm making the play. And I'm starting the play, whether it's a hockey assist, a regular assist, a goal, whatever. Finishers are finishing. People are all in the right spots, which is a big key, moving off ball. So these last couple games, we've got into what we're good at. We've just running what we're good at and not worrying about anything else. We're getting better at zone work because, a lot of teams are facing us with zones because it's hard. We have a lot of guys that can beat our man one-on-one. So zone, I guess, is the best bet for these other teams, but we're just trying to improve on the zone because the last couple of years, zone is kind of slowed us down offensively.
Right.
We've been able to, hack into some of these zones. But like I said, it's really just everyone doing their part all the way from defense to the middies to the attack to each unit individually. So that's really the big key.
I love that. That's huge. It's what a lot of great programs are built on. I was a D-Midi in college, so I know all about knowing my role and what I'm good at. And for any of you young Laxers listening in on this conversation right now, Xavier made a huge point. Do the things that you're good at on the field. Obviously work on the things that you're not so great at in practice. But when you're out there and it's your number's called and you want to make an impact for your team, don't do something that you're not good at because you're not putting in your team in the best possible situations to succeed. Knowing your role, doing what you can to help the team, because we all have the same goal in mind, right? It's to win. It's to win the ball game. And if everyone does their job to the best of their ability, put you in positions to win the game. That's huge. And that's awesome that, you're expressing that to your teammates. And also you express it to yourself. Like you said, you're a producer. You're not always scoring the goals. As an attackman, that's like the number one thing that sometimes is on guys' minds. Sometimes it affects the way they play if they haven't scored yet. If it's late in the third quarter, it's like, oh man, I haven't scored yet. And then they start doing too much. But clearly you have identified your role. So that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. So, you said it earlier, I think, or maybe not. But you're going to UNC Chapel Hill.
Right.
Committed. Young gun. 2020. Stud. Let's kind of talk about that a little bit because that's a huge commitment and that's an awesome school. I've never been there. I've heard great things. And, that's definitely a legacy that I think you're really excited to buy into. So let's talk about what influenced your commitment there.
Yeah, I mean, I was obviously young, 8th grade summer going into 9th grade. But the main thing going through the process, my sister went through it. She's playing at Stony Brook right now. So I learned from her, and her mistakes to just go through the process, not rush anything because I got a lot of time. Even now, I still got time. So, but to just take every opportunity that came to me and break it down into each category. School. If I didn't even play lacrosse, if something happened to me, God forbid, would I still want to go to this school? And as soon as I stepped on UNC's campus, I had that feeling, that home feeling that I could spend, the next 4 years of my life here. But all these other programs were amazing. The Hopkins, the Marylands, Ohio State was it was a great school. Ohio State for sure. I definitely, it was definitely underrated, but yeah, UNC I love Coach Bresci. Coach Bresci's amazing. Just the things, the way things are run there, the workouts, everything. I just fell in love with it as soon as I got on there. I was there twice, actually. I went on 2 visits, and both times I loved it. I had no complaints about it.
I love that you mentioned that you could picture yourself there if you weren't playing lacrosse because that's a big factor. because sometimes things happen. I know guys that have gone to schools and they've gotten hurt and they stayed because they love the guys and they love the school. And then I've had friends that have went to schools and they had it all. They had the friends, they had lacrosse, but they just didn't necessarily fit in. But it seems like that you took your time and you really weighed out options and you picked the best school that fits you academically, socially, and athletically. And that's awesome. Congrats, man.
Thank you.
Perfect. So coming into the last segment of the interview here, I know you guys got a couple games in between. I think you play Comswag and maybe another game, Babylon.
Comswag Saturday, and then Babylon, I think, Tuesday.
Awesome. All right. Well, not to rush into things, and I know it's a little bit away. However, FLG will be covering the String King game of the week.
That's awesome.
On the 26th against Islip. I know that's a little bit of a rivalry for you guys, or at least a big game to look forward to on the schedule. Let's kind of talk about that a little bit, kind of talk about your history, and what are you most excited for, as well as what is it going to take to win that one?
Yeah, I remember last year, Islip's never really been a powerhouse, I would say. But last year they kind of came on the map, and first game, I think it was second game of the year, we beat them 13-8, but it was like, okay, these guys can play, definitely if you sleep on them. And then the season kept going on. They kept beating teams and beating teams and beating teams. Then we ended up playing them in the counties. We had a good lead on them, I think 6 goals, and then they started coming back, and it was there was like a 1-goal game, 2-goal game at one point, and then we kind of lifted off a little bit. But, they definitely have, I would say, the edge right now because they're hungry for something that was stolen from them last year. And especially they think, we lost all our seniors and Chris Gray and Kevin Cupnella, so they think, they could just walk on over us, which is the advantage for us because, no one should sleep on us for no reason. So it's definitely going to be a good game, like as expected. We just have to go in there knowing that they don't take us seriously enough. Because if we do, then we'll just go in there and handle business.
Awesome. Yeah, man. I mean, it seems like you're ready to go.
Oh yeah.
That's key, because players feed off of that energy and that mojo. If they know their leaders are ready to go, everyone will be ready to go. And I wish you guys the best of luck as you make the second push into your seasons. Keep developing that chemistry. Keep coming to practice with energy and great attitude. String those guys along. Keep building that winning mentality and that Shoreham Wading River mentality. And best of luck against Iceland, my man.
Thank you.
Perfect. Xavier ARline, guys, tune in. Shoreham Wading River. Checking out FLG Crims. Take care.
All right, guys.
Have a good one.